Hey LEGO fans, it's Gamer Inc. here, and if you're anything like me, your wallet is in a bit of a sorry state after these June 1st releases that we just got from LEGO. I got online right away last night at 11 p.m. Central Time, which was the quote-unquote midnight release time for the Lord of the Rings Barad-dûr set, and I was able to secure my copy along with the Fell Beast gift with purchase, which at the time I checked this afternoon around 2 o'clock Central Time, that gift with purchase is no longer available. It's been sold out, so it took less than 24 hours for that gift to become unavailable. So unfortunately, if you were not a LEGO insider that was on your game to get your order in, you missed out on a pretty neat little gift with purchase. I'm hopefully that it will be coming out with some other Lord of the Rings sets in the future that would be similar to that in a more budget-friendly price range outside of these premium sets that are in like the $300 plus category. But that got me thinking with this new launch of the Legend of Zelda Great Deku Tree that was announced earlier this week, is LEGO getting too expensive? And so I wanted to kind of cost compare the Great Deku Tree set that'll be coming out in September this year, which oddly enough was up for pre-order for like 2 days, I think, but that's no longer the case. They haven't had that available for pre-order any longer. So I'm wondering if sometimes LEGO, when they do these pre-orders for certain sets, if they have like a specific number that they're allowing to take for pre-orders and then they kind of cut that off. Pre-order sets is not something we typically see from LEGO, but it seems like it's becoming more and more commonplace, but that will be a discussion for another video. But let's dive into looking at some other sets that I have found that I feel are kind of comparable to the Great Deku Tree, and we'll do some cost comparison based off of piece count, included minifigures, and theme, and see where this one kind of falls in line with other sets. So please be sure to follow along, like and subscribe as always, and I'll be happy to bring some more of this type of LEGO content to you in the near future. Let's dive right in, shall we? So this is the Legend of Zelda The Great Deku Tree 2-in-1 build. This allows you to build both the Breath of the Wild version of the Great Deku Tree and the Ocarina of Time version. It also comes with 4 minifigures, 2 of the Link from Ocarina of Time, both young and old Link, and then for the Breath of the Wild set, it comes with a Link and Zelda. Now the 2-in-1 means that this set builds one or the other. It does not build both, so if you're looking to pick up both variations of the Deku Tree, you would have to pick up 2 of this set. I think both of them look really great. I personally am a little more partial to the Breath of the Wild build just because I feel like it has a better aesthetic. I like it's got a little bit more of the Easter eggs, and I think the scene around the Deku Tree is just a little better fleshed out than the other version. This set has 2,500 pieces in it with a price tag of around $300, which means the price per piece is going to come in right at about 12 cents. So that is relatively high for a LEGO set price per piece count. As we look at some others, we'll see that most of them are going to fall in the line of around 10 cents or less, and it really kind of depends on the franchise or whether or not they're tied to a specific license. You'll typically see that some sets that aren't tied to a license or a franchise are going to probably run more in the 8 cent and under range. I've looked at like sets like the Architecture series, and those tend to run in about the 5 to 6 cent piece, but they also have the luxury of not being tied to a license or franchise, and they never usually include any minifigures, which can kind of skew the price of a set depending on number of minifigures that are included. One of the first sets I thought that this would compare to would be the Dungeons & Dragons The Red Dragon Tail set. This released earlier this year. It has 3,745 pieces with a price tag of $360. That puts its price per piece count around 10 cents, which is about where I like to see a set come in at. That is a relatively fair range, I feel, when you have it tied to a franchise or a specific license because that is going to add a little bit of a premium to the set just because of the fees LEGO has to pay in order to use the rights. And even though this does have more pieces than the Great Deku Tree, I feel that it's still fairly comparable because of its being tied to a license. The price per piece count is probably more in line with what we would like to see, and it's got a relatively close number of minifigures between the two. Now, as far as another Nintendo licensed set, we have the Nintendo Entertainment System. This has 2,646 pieces and comes in at $270, which again puts it in that 10-cent price per piece range. Now, this will not include any minifigures, which could kind of skew the desirability for a collector standpoint as whether or not minifigures are a go or no-go as far as sets that you tend to collect. I personally have this set. I think it's a fantastic set because it has some action play to it, and it also kind of pulls on that nostalgia of growing up and playing with these systems as a kid. Another set that would be a good comparison to the Deku Tree would be the Mos Eisley's Cantina from the Star Wars line. This has 3,187 pieces, coming in at a $400 price tag. Now, it does have a much higher price per piece count, sitting around 13 cents per piece, but it does include 21 minifigures, which many of them are unique to this set and have become highly sought after. So I feel you really have to look at a minifigure count when you're looking at a price per piece, and though this one might be a little higher at that 13 cents per piece, the minifigures are what's kind of driving that. This is a fantastic set. I think a lot of collectors are going to be after this, especially if you are a collector of minifigures. So I really do think minifigures play a role when you're looking at that price per piece count, but a fairly good comparable that is in the neighborhood of what we're looking at with the Deku Tree. I think this one gets a little bit more of a pass because of the quantity of minifigures you're getting with it. So now I think one of the best comparables that we have out there to the Great Deku Tree would be the Sanderson Sisters Cottage from Disney. This has 2,316 pieces with 6 minifigures. This set is coming in at $230, which is putting it right at that sweet spot of 10 cents per piece. Now, this is where I'd like to see the Zelda set come in at. If we were to lower the price per piece count to 10 cents instead of 12 cents, that puts the set roughly at like a $250 price tag instead of the $300. So this is where I feel like I can safely say that the Great Deku Tree would have probably been a much better price point at no more than like a $250 set cost. Now, the last set that I'm looking to compare the Deku Tree to is the A-Frame Cabin from the Ideas line. This is 2,082 pieces, coming in at $180. And I feel like this is where we can see where if LEGO is not tying their sets to a specific license or franchise, we are getting a much better price per piece. This one comes in right at 9 cents per piece. Keeping your sets in the $200 or less, I feel, is a much more appealing price for the general market and LEGO enthusiasts, just to keep it a little bit more accessible to the general LEGO community. And there you have it. Those are my thoughts on the current sets available from LEGO that would be somewhat comparable to the Deku Tree that'll be releasing later on this year. Let me know your thoughts below in the comments if you feel like LEGO is just increasing their prices because their sets are being more targeted to an adult market, or is this just a new trend in increased pricing that we're seeing across the board in this new economy? Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, as I will be looking forward to doing more LEGO content in the near future.